Hello everyone and welcome to Rudy's Retro Intel. On today's show we'll be looking at this new board I've designed. It's the Mac SE30 Peaker board and allows you to get real-time monitoring data from your SE30. So let's peek inside and poke around. Okay, with the board on the bench now, we can get a better view of what's this board all about. It's providing real-time monitoring. It connects to your PDS slot, which you have right here on the side underneath. There's the PDS slot there. And let's see what we have here. We'll start at the top and work our way down. So we have 4 meters. They show the -12, +12, -5, and +5 voltages. This will, again, it's real-time monitoring. It will, flicker or change depending on the power, the quality of the power. Next we have the 60 megahertz clock, the E clock, and CPU clock, which can be measured with your oscilloscope. You hook up your oscilloscope, you have your ground connector here, you have also one down here, and then you just put your oscilloscope on there, probe on there, and get the readings that you need. Next we have address lines. So these are all the address lines for the CPU, the data lines for the CPU, and then additional signals. So the signals are IRQs, IMI, reset. What else we have? There's if there's an error, there's the FC0, FC1, etc., etc. These are all additional support signals that the CPU uses. So this is a small board, and it'll be available soon, sometime in the next few weeks. And I'll leave you, we'll talk more about where you can find them in a bit, and I'll leave links in the video description as to where you can get this board. So first off, we'll have to get to the SE30, plug it in, see how it works. But I want to give a shout out first to Gutbomb and Mac84. Gutbomb helped me with this board design and testing, and also Tech Knight. He helped figure out some issues that we were having and got it all fixed thanks to him. Now, the funny story with this board is I designed this board even though I didn't have an SE30. I've designed a board similar to this, real-time monitoring, for the Nabu computer and the Apple IIe computer. And I wanted to build a board, another board, something a bit more challenging like this one. And I know a lot of people who have SE30s. And I figured, let me design and build the same type of board for the SE30 computer. However, because I didn't have one, I kept mailing the prototype boards off to Gutbomb, which he graciously enough tested it and provided his feedback. Now, after reaching out to a bunch of people in the community, which is fantastic, excellent community here on YouTube and other places, Discord, and I've reached out, asked if anybody has any SE30 motherboards they wanna sell or donate to the channel. Well, 2 people have stepped up to the plate and provided that. So let's look at those boards, plug this in, and see how it works. So the first board I got was this wonderful Mac SE30 from Ryan at Everything is Broken Garage. Thank you so much, Ryan, for donating this board to the channel. He's a fantastic guy, lives out on the east coast of Canada, and yeah, he said he has one, he could donate, send it off, and here we go. So here's this board, and I'll leave a link to his channel in the video description below. So that's Ryan's board. Now, another viewer and subscriber to the channel, Thomas Armstrong, has also jumped onto the call to donate an SE30 to the channel, and this is the board that he sent us. And yeah, Thomas doesn't have a YouTube channel, but you can find him on all the a lot of live streams, and fantastic guy, very smart guy. He graciously donated an SE30, so now I have 2 SE30s to play with, and in future videos you're going to see these in 2 different cases I want to build and put together. So stay tuned for more Mac related videos later on. But yeah, the reason I got 2 is that I didn't need to, but once Ryan said he would send the board, and then he took some time, and then Thomas said, "Hey, I have a board. Do you want it?" And so I said, "Okay." So I wasn't sure, but which one would come first. Next, I got both of them. So yay! Thank you so much, guys, for donating the boards to the channel. And like I said, I'll be doing some more interesting things with these two boards in future videos. So in order to get these boards up and running, or running, you would need a connector. So first thing is we need a power supply. So here I have, let me get this. I have a ATX power supply. It's a Corsair CX550M. It's an older one, and it has all the additional connections you can plug in the back if you want additional power for drives or other things. But I've taken them off because I don't need that at the moment. I just want the ATX power itself. So let's put that on the side. Now, the ATX power supply doesn't plug into the SE30. The SE30 has a different connector. However, mentioning this, Gut Bomb did donate this wonderful board. It's called the SE Topper, and it's available at jcm-1.com, and it's made by Ron of Ron's Vintage Retro Computer. I can't talk. Ron's Computer Vids. So sorry for messing that up, Ron. But anyways, this board is available from the site. You can get it. Highly recommend it. But I didn't have to get it because Gut Bomb donated it to the channel. He wasn't using it. He has another a newer version or something he's using, and so he said, "Hey, you can have it, great." And with this comes with another adapter, and this adapter allows you to get VGA out of this board. So what you would do is you just plug in this connector. Ron has made a really good design here because the connector is smaller, and you can see which one. Let's see if you can zoom a bit more here. This plugs into there. This is a smaller connector, so you don't mix them up. The second one you can use to plug in your what's it called, your RGB to HDMI adapter, and get HDMI video out of it. But VGA is more than fine for what we need here. So let's connect this. So the way it works is that you would plug in your ATX power supply here. So we'll take this. It's got a little notch on here, nicely put in, so that it clips onto your power supply like that, and it clicks, so it holds it in, and this part plugs into your SE30. So let's plug that in there. Now notice on the SE30 I only have 4 sticks of memory on here, because if I have more, this interferes with the memory. So this is not a solution you'd want if you're filling up all the memory. But for a bench and you want to do some testing, this is fantastic. So now we have that connected. What else do we need? We need to connect our RGB, VGA adapter. Now I have this adapter I purchased off Amazon, and it's by Benfei, B-E-N-F-E-I. No idea. But anyways, who the company is. But it's great. You plug in your VGA cable here, and you can get your HDMI out here. It requires external power, so that's fine. Again, for a bench setup, this is great. So if you want to, work on an SE30 outside the case, this is the way to do it. So let's plug that in. We're going to plug in some power, and I'm going to plug in the VGA, the RGB to HDMI cable. All right, so that's all connected. Also, I've purchased a Blue SCSI external adapter, again at jcm-1.com. They sell internal, external. I bought an external unit because I want to use it for my bench to test computers, and this just plugs into the serial port on the back, like so. And I also have an old speaker I found. I'm not sure what this came out of. I think this was from I believe this is actually from an Apple II Plus clone that I have that is in need of repair, but I took the speaker out of that. So let's plug that in. And there's a spot right here. Let's see if we can zoom in. And you can see right there is the speaker connector. So we just plug this in like that, and now we have speaker connection. All right, so now let's unplug this. Well, we can leave that plugged in for now. So let's hook up the peaker board, and the peaker board is a kit, sort of a kit form. When you get it, you have to solder in the 4 meters and the PDS slot. This is the connector that plugs into here. The board comes with holes here. So I didn't mention this, but I'll do it now. So here on the side, I put header pins, but you don't have to. There's holes in there. You can put header pins if you want, or leave them off. And the cool thing is that with your oscilloscope, you can then touch each point to see what is going on. So for example, if you want to look at A15, well, you can at address line A15, you can just take your oscilloscope and put it on A15 and monitor and see what's going on there, what kind of signal you're getting. The light's flickering, but is it a clean signal? Well, now you can find out. And that can be done for anything on the address bus, the data bus, and the additional signals available on the processor. I put headers on mine because what I would like to do is plug in a cable like this, where I can just plug in certain points on the board, and then I can monitor them through a logic analyzer. So you can connect this up to a logic analyzer and get even more information from your unit. But the nice thing is that you have access to it. With the SE30 board, the CPU is not very accessible. It's not like other units. Hold on, let's see here. It's not like other ICs where you can actually just grab a signal off of here and monitor it and pipe it in through your oscilloscope or logic analyzer. But the CPU is different. You'd have to grab it from the bottom, and if you look at the bottom, this is the bottom of the CPU where it's just pinned. So it's very, very difficult to grab information regarding what's going on the unit. So again, with the peaker board, which just plugs in like this, you just pop it in the side, and there we go. And now we can actually see real time what's going on with the SE30. Now the kit does not come with standoffs. These are just plastic standoffs that you can buy at Amazon or anywhere. They're 20mm. Just buy something to hold it in, so that the board is sitting on something, so the whole unit is nice and firm, and it's not bouncing around. You don't want it to be flexing all the time and then possibly break your PDS slot on your SE30. Now, with that being said, let me figure the power and turn on the SE30. Okay, with the power all ready to go, everything's set up. Let's power back on the SE30, and let's see if it boots up into the Blue SCSI device, and then we can run some additional diagnostic software if it's required. But we can see that the board is processing, it's doing something, and we are starting to get video on the screen. I can move my mouse. These bars are not jail bars, they're just, it's my capture device doing that. On my screen it looks like normal background for the SE30. And here we go, welcome to Macintosh, and we have the application called Snooper. Now, Snooper is a diagnostic software that runs and will check all kinds of components on your SE30. So let me just switch cameras so we can see this is the Snooper software. In the corner is a logic test. We run that, and here we can pick all the different types of diagnostics. We can pick RAM, PRAM, clock, what's kind of hidden there. There's the modem port, parallel port, or printer port, SCSI device, the CPU, ADB, and FPU. So let's run through the cycle and see what happens. So we can run this, and as we do that, we can see that the board is now, you see flashing LEDs on the address lines. the data lines, you're going to see some, but some flash so fast that you can't actually, the light is flickering so fast on and off that you can't actually see it. So that's where you would get your oscilloscope probe and plug it on, and then you can see it, exact details as to what's going on. But as we can see, it's running through all the memory tests. So I think not memory tests, through all the tests, and it looks like it's great. So this board, this board that Ryan sent, yay, thank you, Ryan, is working awesome. And the beeping is hearing because I have no printer hooked up or a loopback connector, but you can put a loopback connector on the back and run all this stuff, so that's fine. Same thing with the modem port. So looks like it's good. I think what I'm going to do now is we're going to exit out of the program, and we're going to run the same thing on the other board and make sure that's working. Okay, so let's end the cycle here. I'm going to hit Apple Q to quit out of that, and then we're going to go shut down, and now we can power this off. So let's power that off, and then we're going to unplug the board. So there goes the peaker board to one side. I'm going to let's unplug all this stuff here. We're going to unplug that, and the SE topper board. Now, I don't know if I remember if I mentioned this, but the SE topper board is for the SE computer. It does work on the SE30 computer, but however, like I said, the cable's in the way of the additional memory. So if you want to put additional memory and use this board, well, you can't do it. So you'd have to buy the other product. Okay, so let's take this out. This is Ryan's donation, and now we will look at Thomas's donation. I'm so excited. I have the two boards. You can't believe it. I had none, now I have two, so this is awesome. So let's plug in the keyboard. Let's plug in the speaker. Let's plug in the SE topper board that Ron put together. Very cool stuff, Ron, by the way. And the blue SCSI. Let's move that off to the side a bit so we can see everything. Let's plug the peaker board in it. There we go. It's nice and good. And let's hit camera. All right, so we got things all lined up, ready to go. I believe it's ready, so let's power it on. And we get the nice Apple chime. Nice. So it sounds like this thing is working. Again, we can see we have the LEDs flashing. It's doing all kinds of interesting stuff. The voltage, minus 12.2, plus 12 is 12 exactly, minus 5 is 5.06, and the plus 5 is 4.83. Again, I think it's not the board, but it's the power supply that needs to be probably tweaked. I'm sure the 5-volt output is a little low. I'm sure I have to open it up and see if I can adjust it. But in the meantime, let's run the peaker software. Sorry, the snooper software, and we'll get this up and running. Again, we'll run logic tests. Now, there's additional tests you can do too. You can do disk tests and video tests and audio. So, for example, if I pick audio, we can do different Alright, so that's that. Speaker works because we got a beep at the beginning. So no need to continue with that silly test. Let's move on to cycling through the memory test. And it's going to go through, and we can see the peaker board providing all kinds of real-time information. Again, you hook up your oscilloscope to it if you want to get more details. But the PRAM is good, and what else? I think the RAM itself is good. Now it's doing a clock test. That should work fine. And then it's going to do the SCSI test, and then the different ports test. So yeah, so it looks like these both boards are working. So this is great news. Thank you guys so much again. Thomas, thank you for this board. Ryan, thank you for the other board. And we'll be looking at other cool things with these two boards later on in the video in this year and on the channel. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna let this run, and then we'll see how this this board see how this board works out at the end of all the tests. It looks like it's going to be fine, and we'll go from there. So as you can see, the Peaker board comes in quite handy for monitoring real-time signals on your SE30. To get one, you can go visit jcm-1.com, and if you're in the US or other parts of the world, if you're in Canada, you can also check out Trina's webpage. It's computerswithpride.ca. So both sites will have the boards available. Huge thanks to both Joe and Trina for allowing me to sell the board on their site. Big thanks to Gutbaum for all his help. Mac84, Steve, thank you for doing a live stream. By the way, if you want to watch the live stream where we talk more about this board, I'll leave a link below with him and Gutbaum and Mark from the Mac Effects team, which they're building or they're redoing a new launch of the SE30 clear case, which is fantastic, so you can see all the cool parts inside your computer. Thanks to Tech Knight for his help on this. Thank you so much to Ryan at Everything's Broken Garage and Thomas Armstrong for donating to the channel the SE30 motherboards. Hopefully you like the video. Stay tuned for more coming up in the future on the Macintosh computers. When I get one that's broken, or if this one breaks, I will do a repair video. I have two planned ideas for cases for these things and power supply, so check for that later on. Thank you so very much for subscribing, for watching, and hopefully hit the like button, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.